Hello, everyone watching. It's Abigail again, back with another artist interview. And today I have Blanca.
Hi guys.
I'm so excited for you guys to get to know her better because she's coming to our summer kickoff this Saturday in Marysville. I am so excited.
Oh my gosh. This is okay. You think you're excited? Let me tell you how excited I am. This is my first show, basically back since COVID. I did something like in my hometown, the beginning of the year, but this is my first official show where I'm like flying in a plane and going to perform. So I am super excited about it.
All right, well, we're pumped too. It's going to be amazing. This is our first show of the year too.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, let's get to know you a little bit better. So, tell us how you got started in music.
I've loved music ever since I was a little girl, and I was the girl that would sing and do her own talent shows at her house and make her whole family sit down and watch. And so I've always had a passion for it, but it wasn't until I was a teenager that I began to take it a little more serious and I got to know the Lord. So a quick summary of my kind of testimony. My parents divorced when I was young, and my dad was like addicted to drugs and kind of going through a really hard time. And he ended up being the first person in my family that gave his life to the Lord and came back after they divorced. He kind of disappeared for a while, and he came back, found us, and he requested to be able to take us to church with him on the weekend. So as a young teenager, I started going to church with my dad, and then I finally gave my life to the Lord. And it just clicked. At that point, I knew like these talents and these things, this passion for music all had a purpose and there was a reason for it. And so I joined a group in my church, like a little Bible study that was for musicians and artists that wanted to like grow and have accountability. And it was called Group One. And then I don't know if you know a little bit of my background. I came from a group called Group One Crew, and it derived from that Bible study. So 3 of us ended up getting signed to a record label in Nashville, and the rest is history. Here I am as a solo artist now, years later.
Yes, and you have released a lot of songs that have gotten a lot of popularity on the radio and elsewhere, and they're really good, and a lot of your songs have been really deep. Can you tell us about the writing process of your
I
music?
think for writing for me, I get a lot of my inspiration just from life and things that I've experienced. I want, in some way, it's a healing process for me to be able to write and use this creative outlet to share my story. But it also is like, I don't know, these things that I've walked through and these things that have happened to me in my life, I want to use as a way to bring healing to other people as well, or encouragement using my story to help them walk through whatever they may be going through. So I agree. I think sometimes my writing, I always want it to be authentic and feel real to who I am. So that's the reason sometimes they tend to go a little deep. I've been through a lot in my life. I've gone through loss. I lost both of my parents to cancer. Like I told you, my parents divorced when I was really young. I've dealt with just some crazy things in my childhood. And so there's a lot there, I guess, to unpack and talk about through my music.
Yeah, I've lost my mom to cancer too.
Really?
And yeah, so I can, as a person listening to your music, I can really connect with that. So I know the audience will really connect with that for anybody in the audience that has gone through something like that as well. And I really love that realness in your music.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's always encouraging to hear, like, sometimes you think, like, even though you know it's not true, that you're the only one that has gone through it, that it feels like, man, I'm walking through this and I don't really know, I don't have a reference, but I'm just trying to do the best that I can with the Lord's guidance. So it's encouraging to hear, like, hey, I've been through that too. I know what you're talking about and how that is. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So more about music. You have released a few things this year. You released a single called Even at My Worst.
I
Not
did.
gonna lie, I bawled when I listened to it. Can you tell me more about that song and the inspiration behind it?
Oh my gosh. It's again such a deep situation, but I lost my parents, and then was going through a really rough time in my marriage. I ended up getting a divorce. I have an 8-year-old son, and I just found myself at rock bottom, like middle of COVID. All these changes, and I'm like, God, what is happening with my life? And I think, as I guess a human, sometimes I tend to put these characteristics that I find in myself or in people that I've lost in my life or that have walked away from me in my life, and I connect them to who I think God is and how he's going to be with me. So a lot of, even at my worst, is like, man, I found myself in this horrible place where I hit rock bottom, and I felt so insecure about all the things that I had walked through. And I was just expecting God to be disappointed in me and, just walk out like I felt everyone else in my life had done. But instead, he met me there and began to build me back up and put the pieces together and show me that there was still beauty and growth that was happening, even though I couldn't see it for myself. So that song just came out of a very honest place of where I was at the time.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And you also released an EP. I had to look it up. What it meant.
Renovada, right? The Spanish one?
Yeah. I looked it up. Does that mean renewed?
It does. It
I
means
love that.
So I've never done music in Spanish. I've only done like translations of songs that I had in the past, but this was an EP completely written in Spanish and done in Spanish. And so, like, I've shared a little bit, losing my parents. They were from Puerto Rico. My parents grew up in Puerto Rico, and before they passed, they would always tell me, like, you should do something in Spanish. Like, it would be so amazing to hear you kind of honor your culture and your roots, your family out there. And I was just so scared because it's not my strength. It's not like my first language. I definitely think and write in English. But after losing them, I went on this journey of like just really trying to find myself. And I visited Puerto Rico. I went to the house where my parents grew up. And I just try to be on this search of like, I don't know what I was looking for, but just guidance and wanting to find them more there. And then the Lord really placed in my heart, like, okay, I think it's time for me to do this stuff in Spanish. So I released my first Spanish EP called Renovada, which means renewed. And I know that not everybody can understand it, but you should still listen to it because I think it's amazing. I'm really happy with how it turned out.
It's so fun too.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching some of the music videos, and me and my coworkers were in the office just like dancing to it. We're like, this is great.
Crazy. Yeah,
I love it.
that's
Awesome. So, okay, fun question. If you could collab with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
These are the worst questions ever for me because I'm not a fast thinker. I'm so indecisive. Dead or alive, who would it be? I honestly, I'm like, you gotta help me. Who would I do? I feel like this is cheesy, but in my childhood, one of my inspirations for singing was Whitney Houston. So I think if I could meet her and share with her how she gave me this love for singing and do a duet with her, that would be, I would probably faint. And then alive, I don't know. That's too hard. I can't think.
All right. Well, I like your answer though.
Good. I answered it at least. Usually I'm always, I don't know. I need to like write these questions down and then think
right.
before I do interviews.
Just carry it everywhere you go to interviews.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, another one. What does a day in the life of Blanca look like?
Ooh, good question. Well, I live in Orlando, Florida.
Nice.
So, a lot of sunshine. I love the beach. Like I said, I have an 8-year-old. He's actually 7, but he's going to be 8 next month. So I'm already saying that he's 8. But we spend a lot of time together. We have Disney passes. So a day in the life will probably be right now, since he's out of school, us doing either going to the pool or the beach or spending a day like at Chuck E. Cheese or a theme park. Because I'm definitely, a day in the life with me is mom life. Now, if I don't have my son and it's just me, I still love to go to the beach. I love to shop, and I love to eat a lot of food. So
That's awesome.
when I go to Ohio, you have to take me somewhere delicious that's known.
Yeah, I have to think about that. We're out in the middle of nowhere, so
Oh, right. So basically what you're saying, it's gonna probably be McDonald's.
no. I promise we will not feed you McDonald's. It's Subway.
Oh, Subway. Okay. Got it.
No. All right. So, an, another question. So obviously it's going to be amazing being back out on stage.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
And
you don't understand. I can't sleep. I'm so anxious about my first show back. I'm like, I'm so excited that I'm just thinking about everything in my head while I'm sleeping.
yeah. So, we just went through this massive pandemic and it was crazy and everybody was off the road. What was God teaching you during that time of like taking that break from
Oh,
performing?
God was teaching me to rest. I think that is the biggest thing. I and I know better, and I try not to be this way, but I feel like a lot of the times I combine my work with my worth, if that's the right term. And I felt in the pandemic like, oh my gosh, so I felt a lot of fear, like what's gonna happen next? What am I gonna do? If I'm not working, then what's my purpose and all, and just kind of these I'm always going to like worst case scenario. And I felt like God's lesson in that was just like, hey, just relax. Like you just need to rest in this moment, spend time with your family, you know, even refresh your spirit, like get closer to me and know that I'm going to take care of all these other pieces. And he for sure did. Like there was times where I'm like, this is such a, like the hand of God working in my life to see how he was taking care of us. But yeah, resting and not necessarily like sleeping, but just learning how to be still in him and trust that he's going to take care of it and he's going to be with you through whatever process you're going through and how it looks like. Because I don't know about you, but I don't always do well with change, so change can sometimes be a little difficult.
Yeah, I've had a lot of change in my life recently, so I don't do well with it either, so I can
Well,
relate.
like this is too much. Like there's too many things happening. I need everybody to just stop for a second because a lot.
Yeah,
But I think that's one thing from the pandemic. I think we all had to learn how to adjust to change, you know?
yeah. So now you're gonna be getting back on the stage. What can people expect? What kind of energy can people expect? I mean, what are
Uh,
we looking at here?
well, for sure, I'm going to be dancing around, hopping around the stage like crazy. I'm bringing like an aux guy who's going to be almost like a DJ. So I feel like that's going to keep the energy up and exciting. And like I said, I love to have a message that feels honest and real and hopefully connects to the hearts of the people that come out. So we're going to have a good time, but at the end of the day, we're going to lift up the name of Jesus and it's going to be awesome. So
Oh,
I
I
think
love that.
that's what you can expect.
Yes. Well, I know that people are super excited, and the energy after a break of no concerts is just like the best feeling in the world. So I
Oh my
am so pumped.
God, you're so right. I'm like, I feel it from my end, but I bet everyone that's coming out too is going to be like, this is the first time that we're going to a show in months. So it's
Yeah,
going to be something that we all need.
awesome. All right, last question. How can we be praying for you as you get back on the road and start more stuff?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, it's now adjusting again, like things are going to start changing. So just praying that everything that I learned through this pandemic time that I continue to practice within the months ahead, just learning to still trust and rest in God and not get too ahead of myself. And I have a new album that I'm working on that has a lot of a lot of emotional, heartfelt tracks in it. And so I'm nervous and also excited about it, but just praying for those songs to come together and everything to go well.
Well, I'm sure that's going to be great. I can't wait. And I can't wait. And I know other people can't wait for you to come out. It's going to be awesome. It's Saturday, the 26th of this month. I'm so pumped in
There.
Marysville. Free concert.
Free. You got to come out, come hang with me. I just want to be around people. So I would love for you guys to be there and make sure that you even stay connected with me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Official Blanca. On Twitter, I'm The Real Blanca. But come chat with me, and hopefully I see you guys there.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you soon.